You're so easy to love. Everyone says that you go with the flow, you don't make a big fuss, and you're never the one to turn a nice evening into a whole big conversation about your feelings. You're the low maintenance one, the chill one. You're the one that nobody has to worry about. But you've started to notice something that leaves you a little bit uncomfortable. The people closest to you don't actually seem to know you. They might love you, sure, but if you're being honest, it sometimes feel like they love a very smooth and pleasant version of you that you've been carefully constructing over the years. And this you that everyone knows, the easy you, is starting to feel a bit lonely. Let's talk about why this happens, why being so easy to love can leave you completely unseen. Let's start with the most obvious thing first. Being easy or easygoing is a genuinely lovely trait. It makes people feel relaxed and comfortable around you, and there's nothing wrong with that. You not bringing a lot of drama or not keeping score or demanding too much of the people you love is a good thing. You wouldn't think of yourself as difficult in your personal relationships. How could that not be a positive? So that part, it's real and it's good, especially considering that a lot of people will purposely bring the opposite. Too much drama, too much conflict, an inability to relate to other people in a peaceful way. So this isn't me telling you to go out and become a nightmare in your personal relationships or in your dating life. We're not doing that. What I want to look at is the specific flavor of easy that is not actually ease at all, at least not for you. It's just careful management of your identity. I'm talking about the kind of easygoing that means I've worked to remove everything about me that might be an inconvenience or displeasure to you. So even though I have my own preferences, I don't mention them because what if my preferences will annoy you? I might have needs, but I talk myself out of them because, well, they feel needy, and needy, as so many of us know, is the worst possible thing that you could possibly be. I say that tongue in cheek on purpose. It is okay to need other people and to need affection and love from the people in your life. Someone might ask you what you want to do over the weekend, and you say, I don't care, whatever you want. You're so out of touch with what you want and like that at least half the time you genuinely can't even remember what those things are. You've sanded off your needs and your preferences so many times that it almost feels like there's nothing left to report. So it's not even that you're going with a flow, it's that you're not generating a flow of your own. You just go with everyone else's. That's what it feels like from the inside. If this sounds like you, welcome. Me too. I spent years trying to hide myself in this way. I thought this is what people wanted from me. I still struggle with this sometimes. But I wasn't happy with the setup. I was actually terrified. I'll get to that. But I want you to notice how nice and pleasant this pattern can look from the outside to the people who don't really know how you feel underneath. But things get dicey. When you take yourself out of the room like this, when you negate your opinions, your preferences, your dislikes, your interests, your actually that did hurt my feelings, you feel like you're making yourself easier to love because that is actually your purpose. But what you're doing instead is you're making yourself impossible for anyone to find. I mean, who are you? People don't know who you are because love that reaches you, that reaches at the core of you, it actually needs something to aim at. It needs some texture, some edges to grasp onto. It needs to know what you want so that I can try to give that to you. It needs to know what stings you, what gets to you, so that I can be gentle with those parts of you. But if you've hidden all of that to make it peaceful to be around you, then the person across from you is just loving a stick figure, a silhouette. They might be doing their best with what you give them, but you give them a shape, not the real you. And then you eventually feel wounded that no one truly knows you. How could they, if you make it your job not to let anyone see you? pull back for a moment, right? Because I know how easy it is to hear that as, oh, so it's my fault that I feel unseen. No, not exactly. That's not what I'm saying. Nobody does this on purpose. Nobody wakes up one day and decides to become invisible, to show up in life as a silhouette of a human to the people they love the most. These are intelligent adaptations that we walk out of childhood or out of difficult experiences with. And then they follow us around in life. They are things that at once made sense and that served the purpose. And they're okay to put down and leave behind where they belong in the past. For a lot of us, myself included, this traces back to very simple and basic early lessons that sound something like, don't be a burden, don't be noticeable, don't make yourself seen. Somewhere back in your past, you learned that your needs and your preferences, your opinions, they were actually a problem. It was legitimate. And it's not necessarily because your parents were cruel or because something terrible happened in your past. Sometimes that's the case, sometimes not. It could have been something less sharp, like a parent who was chronically overwhelmed, who couldn't figure out how to handle their own emotional makeup, who felt easily overwhelmed and burdened, and who made it clear through words or just through actions that they couldn't take on anymore, which in turn caused you to repress or squash your own needs so as not to put more on top of their already overwhelming pile. So you had to become low maintenance. And it was smart to do at the time because kids need love, they need care. They do what they can to hold on to those things because they are vital to their survival. The problem is nobody told you that these patterns don't stay in the past, that they follow you along later in life. So here you are now, decades later, still running the same patterns that you developed as a small person, trying not to tip over the adults in your life who couldn't handle too much or who didn't want to see all of you, or who might have actually been burdened by you, or who might not have liked all of you. The cruelty of this is that the more you do it, the more you disappear yourself in this way, the less people in your adult life can come close to you and love you for your authentic bits. That's the ache, right? The pain that you have to live with when you live in this way. Being easy to love is why you actually feel unseen, because you've made yourself unknowable so that the people in your life will most predictably stick around. In my home growing up, we played a game called How Not to Trigger My Father. So a lot of my doings, not doings, they centered around making myself very little, invisible. Little did I know that my father was like a bomb that would go off on a timer regardless of what anyone did. So it was a fruitless endeavor to begin with, to even try not setting that bomb off. But it taught me to find a million different ways to try to diffuse another person by contorting myself into whatever minimal shape was necessary to get that done, including disappearing if that's what was necessary. A lot of these patterns we tend to inherit from parents who inherited their own patterns from their parents, who even perhaps got them from their own parents, right? In my case, I can trace back several generations of this kind of environment. So these are coping strategies that get handed to us when we're too young to understand what they are, what they're there for. They're hand-me-downs that we're allowed to set down as adults if, only if, we realize that they're there in the first place. Many people don't know they're there. So what does all of this change practically, knowing this? It means that the fix is not to try even harder to be more perfect or less of a bother for the people who love you. You want the people you care about to truly see you. The thing that will change how you feel is letting people see the pieces of you that you don't normally show, that seem too dangerous or too risky to show to the people in your life. It's those parts that really bind us to other people. Letting out some of your real opinions, your real needs, admitting that you're bothered or inconvenienced by things, letting people know that you have wants and desires that you care about and that matter to you. All disclosures, small or big, that add up and that start to form a tapestry of your humanity. But to be able to get there, you have to stop editing yourself out of your own life. Our fear to be seen is a very old lesson talking, and it's really loud because it was really important at one time. The louder it is, the more important it probably was in your own life. But that fear is predicting that the people who love you can only love the repressed, suppressed you, and that the real you might be rejected if you were to show yourself. And the vast, vast majority of the time, that is just not true. Because most of the time, the people around you who care about you are actually waiting for you to show up. They relate to you better, deeper, because that's what lasting human connection needs. And other people can feel your silhouette too. They just don't know how to get past it. The people who are worth your time and your love do not want a frictionless, needs nothing, opinionless version of you. They want you with texture. They want you with desires, with needs, with opinions. So you're allowed to be known to the people who love you, because being known deepens and fully fleshes out your human relationships. So here's your permission slip. You get to be a little bit of a handful. You get to want things and to say so and still be loved anyway. That's not too much. It's just you present in the moment, showing yourself. I've left some free resources down below for you in the description, including a new quiz to help you figure out if what you're experiencing is limerence or healthy attachment. So go ahead and take a look, and I'll see you next time. Take good care.